Micky and Djed came into my office yesterday on prompt. Just said, I want to say sorry for the situation. They didn't want it to look bad or disrespectful or all kind of perception you can get in this beautiful media world. So that was not the intention at all towards me or the team or the club. They were just frustrated with the performance, the loss, and the booing during the game.
All right, Stevie, you know I'm going to come to you first in this one as a manager as well. This isn't Thomas Frank's first rodeo, so he knows to say the right things in front of camera. But behind the scenes, is this an issue at all?
No, absolutely not. And I think it's interesting that it comes on the back of Vinny last week.
Yeah.
Throwing his toys out the pram. Because with the Vinny situation, there is absolutely no other way to take what he did because of his behaviour and his attitude than what it was. It was clear what it was. This guy was not happy with the manager, not happy with anything at all to do with the situation. And so it's very straightforward for me to criticise Vinny like I did and think that Alonso really has to discipline him.
Mario, as Thomas Frank said and as Stevie said, look, frustrations boil over. Maybe we shouldn't take this, or Thomas Frank definitely is not taking this as personally as it looks. But when you look at Van de Ven, he was the captain for the day, as Stevie said, understandably frustrated with his own performance, I'm sure. But did his reaction or the way he reacted surprise you a little bit, especially knowing that he was wearing the captain's armband?
Look, sometimes people forget that we are emotional people. We are no different than anybody that doesn't play football. And we have emotions too. So sometimes that can get the better hand of us. But, you know, the reaction of both players, or both individuals, we all been there, that we reacting in a certain way. But when you know you're wrong, and then you go in, the best thing you can do is have a one-on-one with your coach. Because when you do that, because you have a public situation with him, the best thing to do is stop the fire straight away, go in, tell him exactly what happened. That's what they did. They had a conversation with him. And I didn't meet the players, but I know Frank. Frank is a very strong character. So if they wouldn't done that, he would have definitely calmed them or say something to them. But him coming out and saying, like, listen, guys, it moved on, it is what it is, and we keep on going, because the guys were disappointed. Sometimes people don't realize Spurs-Chelsea is a very, very huge game in London, eh? This is like, you know, especially when Chelsea comes there and they beat you at your own home. That is never likely. And me saying it because that's all we were always thinking about when we go there.
Well, they're going to have to put those frustrations aside because they're back in action midweek in Europe against Copenhagen, Stevie. And then they've got the small matter of facing Manchester United as well. But we won't get to that.
Well, that's 3 points for them then.
Oh, cheers. We will see about that. But that's a conversation for another day. Speaking of the two players, they definitely start this weekend. No issues.
No, not at all. No. Done and dusted, easy peasy. There's communication, on you go. Next day, next thing, next question.
I think that's the thing too. And I, on yesterday's show, I was very critical of Djed Spence, especially. Van de Ven, he just kind of stayed out of the way.
Yeah.
And I think the players did the right thing in kind of preempting and going to see Thomas Frank about it. Otherwise, I think Frank has to address that within the dressing room. But once he does, that's it. You know, let's talk about club fines and whether they'd play. No, none of that was coming into play. I mean, I'm sure I speak for both Stevie and Mario here. We've seen far worse than that between player and manager. and you discuss it, you get your dressing down or whatever it is, and then you move on. You know, especially at that point, at the end of a game, you're home, you've just lost, emotions are running high. A lot is done and said in that moment that you wish you could take back. If you don't do as the players did and go to see the manager, he has to address it himself. But it's over as quickly as it became an issue.
But the same thing I say about words. When I saw both players active on the field, they are not fit yet. And they are both going through the first season in England, and they need to be fitter than what they were prior to come to the Premier League. Because if you're not that, you're going to have games like this, and it's going to take you a long time to get over it. Because if not, you're always one step late. And that's what I feel with him. When he takes, even when he played the ball back to Van de Ven, there comes a mistake between them, that's too soft. Then Caicedo, of course, he wins the ball. Things like that should not happen because that's not the player he normally is.
Well, Mario, you say he's just not fit enough yet, which for peasants like myself, you know, to wrap your head around that in a footballing perspective. We're talking about Premier League player here, and I know every league has different physical demands, but how long do you think it will take for him to get to that level? When will we see the best of Xavi Simons? Because he came with such promise.
He came with a lot of promise, but the speed of the game, you understand? Sometimes people get surprised when they arrive in England, and I think, you know, the guys that are sitting there can explain it to you. When I came in myself, you know, it doesn't take long. It's like some of us, like especially, I mean, what I just highlighted to you, sometimes you see some run for 5 minutes, they are breathing like crazy. And I feel like when I watch him, he normally PSV, fit, demanding, but that's not the same tempo. When you look at Germany, Ekitike said it himself. He said, the game is so much faster in England, I have no time to think. What do you think he's going through? It's the same thing. Every time he gets the ball, you don't get a couple of seconds to think. You got to make things happen, especially because of the why they brought you there. You're playing in the area where Son was playing. He was always dribbling maybe 40 yards, 30 yards. He can't do that because that power he doesn't have yet. So he's got to build on himself and focus on that because he has the quality, but if he doesn't work on himself, we will not see it. And that's the only thing I can say to him.
You know, next time you watch both Wirtz and Simons, they're both doing the same thing. They're both, it looks bad because it looks like they're just giving the ball away. And the reason they're giving the ball away is because of the tempo that Mario's talking about. It means you get less time. And things close quicker than in different other leagues. And so by the time you've actually decided you're going to play this pass, because you're not up to speed with the tempo of the game, you still play the pass, but it's not on anymore. And it gets cut out. And then everybody's looking at the TV, grasping their hair, going, oh, why keep giving the ball away? That's the tempo that makes such a big difference for people like Simons and for Wirtz.
For me, I really enjoy watching someone that is like that. You know, it's not like just only do the nice things, but also when it really matters. And in games like this, you got to step up, and he stepped up, and he sets the tempo. And if there's any problem on the field, he will come and help you out. And that is the player you want in your team.
Shaka, I know that there's a huge case for Erling Haaland because he's just in monstrous form right now. But when you look at what Moises Caicedo is doing and exactly how Mario described it, is there a case for him to be the MVP, the most valuable player in the Premier League right now?
I think there's a case for it, but he won't win it. Not if Erling Haaland continues scoring goals the way he has. Listen, you cannot. There's a reason goal scorers are paid as well as they do because that is a specialized skill. That being said, as far as defensive midfielders go, Moises Caicedo right now is easily the best in the league. This is shades of N'Golo Kante. That is how important Caicedo is to Chelsea. That is simply how good he's playing for them right now. As we just saw in that goal, Caicedo wins the ball not once but twice. He hunts the ball down when three Spurs players are passing between themselves. He was the difference between Chelsea winning this game and just taking a point from it. He, right now, as I said, is the best in the league, easily Chelsea's most important player. And I'm not sure how you replicate that. I'm not sure how you find a substitute for that. He after a difficult first season for Chelsea, he simply has been outstanding.
Stevie, I see you shaking your head in agreement.
But Shaka,
well the thing is, we can talk about the big teams having deep squads, and we can look at Man City of previous years where it doesn't matter who it was, they could take one off, put one on, and you didn't know the difference. The one thing you say with this guy is Chelsea could have a squad of 100, and if he's not playing, they can't replace him.
Correct.
Yeah. Mario?
Yes. Yeah. No, what I wanted to say, like I'm sure that Steve, Steve, you know when the derbies are there, you almost need a player that sets the tempo, right? And sometimes it's going to be like from the first minute, it doesn't matter who's on the field. You look at one of the individuals, normally it's your captain, that either does a tough tackle or, wins the ball in a certain way, and we all look at each other and we go like, okay, guys, it's about this. And that is exactly what the Spurs-Chelsea game is all about. You need one individual in your team that sets the tone straight away, and everybody knows, hey, we came here to win. And I felt like Chelsea was playing that game to win. I did not think Spurs had the same mentality in the start during the whole 90 minutes. They had a different perspective. They were just holding and waiting and seeing. No, Chelsea was there to win, and Caicedo was one of the instigators to start that fight.